God is so intelligent and powerful. If you're worried or scared, trust God with those feelings. Have you ever felt helpless, like you're in a small boat during a huge storm? Sometimes, life feels that way. But remember, you're not alone. There are things we can't control. But God can handle it. He's in charge of everything. We often think we're in control, but we're not. There's a time for everything. And sometimes things happen that we don't expect or understand. Just like we can't change the weather, there are other things we can't change too. We are trying to control everything that tires us out. The Bible says there's a time for everything. Sometimes we need to trust God and let Him lead. God knows everything and can do anything. Sometimes we don't get what's happening, but God does. Trusting Him means you believe in His strength and plan. There are many stories in the Bible where people faced tough situations, but trusted God. Take Jehoshaphat's story, for example. When enemies came, he prayed and praised God instead of fighting, and God protected him. Or the story of King Hezekiah, who was really sick. He prayed, and God added 15 more years to his life. Trusting God can bring peace, even in hard times. Even if things are tough, with God by our side, we're safe. The Bible tells us that trusting God brings a peace that's hard to explain. It's a calmness, even during tough times. Just like He took care of the Israelites in the desert, He'll take care of us. We can talk to God through prayer, sharing all our worries. When we trust Him, it feels like a weight has been lifted. Sometimes surrendering brings victory. It might sound weird, but in God's world, letting go means winning. Like the story of Jericho. The Israelites couldn't break the walls by force, but they trusted God's strange plan of marching and shouting, and the walls fell. There are problems we can't solve, but God can. Remember, in God's eyes, letting go is the way to win. So whenever you feel overwhelmed, trust in Him. He's got your back. God is like a protective parent. You know, when kids are scared or unsure, and they run to their parents for help, that's how we can approach God. We don't always have the answers or the strength, but God does. Have you ever felt like you're facing a mountain too high to climb? Remember the story of David and Goliath. David was just a young boy, but with trust in God, he defeated a giant. Sometimes, the problems we face seem like giants. But with God, even the impossible becomes possible. The best part, God is always listening. Imagine having a friend there for you, 24/7, always ready to listen. That's God. Whenever you're feeling lost, sad, or scared, just talk to Him. It's like chatting with your best friend. But this friend can move mountains for you. So why worry about tomorrow or the next day? Tomorrow will have its challenges, yes. But with God on our side, we can face them head on. It's like having the best backup ever. And all we need to do is trust and let go. Because in this grand journey of life, while we may be the drivers, God is giving us the map and guiding the way. So trust in Him, lean on Him, and watch as life becomes a beautiful adventure. So let's look at life as a vast ocean. There will be calm days where the sea is smooth, and then there'll be days with waves so high they threaten to overturn our boat. In those stormy times, it's like having a skilled sailor on board with us. That's God. There's this story of Jonah. He tried to run away from a task God gave him. But even when he was deep in the belly of a big fish, God was there. It teaches us that no matter where we go or what we face, God's presence is constant. We often look for solutions in all the wrong places. Think about it like searching for keys in every corner of the house when they're right in your pocket, instead of searching everywhere else. Sometimes we just need to pause, breathe, and trust that God already has the solution. Life throws curveballs, and while we might duck or dodge, with God's guidance, we can catch them. We might get a few surprises. But with him, nothing is truly unexpected. He's like our life's GPS, rerouting us when lost and guiding us through the best path, even if we don't see it immediately. Ultimately, our journey is richer and filled with lessons, experiences, and growth, all because we chose to sail with God as our guide. Remember, in this voyage of life, with God by our side, no storm is too strong, no wave too high, and no path too twisted. With every sunrise, there's a new hope, a fresh start, and with God, a day full of endless possibilities. Imagine life as a tapestry. From our viewpoint, we might only see knots, tangles, and chaotic threads. It might seem messy and without purpose, but God sees the other side, a beautiful design and pattern that emerges from each twist and turn. Take the story of Ruth, for instance. She faced loss and heartbreak, but chose to stick with her mother-in-law, Naomi, and trust God's plan. Her leap of faith led her to a new life and lineage that eventually included King David and Jesus. It's a reminder that even in our darkest moments, God is weaving a brighter tomorrow. Ever play Connect the Dots? At the start, all you see are scattered points, but as you draw line to line, a clear picture appears. That's how God orchestrates our life. Even when moments feel disconnected or random, they lead to a bigger purpose. Think of it like being in a dense forest. While we're amidst tall trees, seeing the immediate path, God views it from above, guiding us through the best routes and shortcuts. There might be obstacles like fallen logs or swift streams, but with Him, we find bridges and pathways we hadn't even noticed. Remember the tale of Esther. She was a young Jewish girl who became a queen. When her people were threatened, she could have stayed silent, but she chose to trust God and speak up. Her courage saved an entire nation. It's proof that when we align ourselves with God's plan, our actions can have impacts far beyond what we can envision. So, as the days roll on, remember to dance to the melody of faith. Life might feel like a complex maze, but with God as our compass, we'll always find our way. The journey is filled with adventures, mysteries, and revelations, and the best part, we never walk it alone. With every step and every challenge, God is right there, cheering us on, guiding us, and ensuring that our tapestry of life is nothing short of a masterpiece. Let's liken life to a book. Every day is a new page, and we're the authors. There are chapters of joy, paragraphs of challenges, and sentences that leave us in suspense. Sometimes we might encounter words we don't understand, or plot twists we didn't expect. But with God as our co-author, no storyline is too complex. Consider the story of Daniel. He was taken far from home and faced numerous tests, the lion's den being the most famous. He could have conformed to the new culture and forsaken his beliefs, but he remained steadfast, trusting in God's plot for his life. And what did he find? Protection, favor, and purpose during challenges. Life can be like a puzzle too. At first, we see countless pieces that don't fit anywhere. It's easy to get frustrated thinking some pieces might be missing. But God sees the cover box. He knows the beautiful picture those pieces form when together. All He asks is for us to trust Him to guide our hand, placing each piece where it belongs. Remember the journey of the prodigal son? He strayed and lost his way, thinking he could write his story better. But when he hit rock bottom, he remembered his father's love, and on returning home, what did he find? Open arms, forgiveness, and a fresh start. It's a powerful testament that no matter how far we deviate from the storyline God has for us, His grace is always waiting to welcome us back. Navigating life, we'll find chapters we wish to skip or pages we'd rather not read. There might be rainstorms and hurdles, but there are also rainbows and victories waiting. We might have moments of writer's block, unsure of the next step. But that's when we need to pause, reflect, and seek guidance from the best co-author we could ask for. In the grand narrative of our lives, God ensures that every event, every interaction, and every decision is leading us toward an epic climax, a purpose bigger than we can fathom. With faith as our guide and God, as our co-writer, our life's book becomes one of hope, resilience, and boundless love, a story that inspires every soul that comes across it. Imagine life as a canvas. At first, it's blank and unassuming. As time passes, every experience, every person we meet, and every challenge we face adds a brushstroke to this canvas. Sometimes the strokes are vibrant and full of color, representing joyous moments. At other times, they might be darker shades reflecting our challenges and sorrows. But with God as our artist, even those dark strokes have a purpose, adding depth and contrast to the masterpiece He's creating. Think about Noah. He lived in a time when the world was full of chaos, much like a canvas splattered randomly with paint. Yet, when God told him to build an ark, he didn't question it. He followed the divine plan, even when others mocked him. The result, he and his family were saved from the great flood. It shows that even when our canvas seems flooded with problems, following God's design can lead us to safety and a new beginning. Life can sometimes feel like a symphony. There are high notes, low notes, crescendos, and pauses. To our ears, some notes might sound out of place or too prolonged, but God, the maestro, knows exactly how to create a harmony that resonates with purpose and beauty. Every note, every rest, has its place in the grand composition. Take the story of Mary and Martha. When Jesus visited them, Martha was busy trying to make everything perfect, while Mary chose to sit and listen to Jesus. Martha felt overwhelmed, like a musician, juggling too many notes. But Jesus reminded her of what was truly important. Sometimes we must focus on the essential notes in our life, symphony, and trust the maestro to handle the rest. Here's another story. In a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a young woman named Lila. Lila was known throughout the village for her unwavering faith. Every morning, as the sun's rays touched the horizon, she would climb the highest hill, kneel, and whisper her prayers to the sky. The villagers often wondered about Lila's dedication. "Why do you believe so strongly that God will answer you?" they would ask. With a serene smile, Lila would reply, "Because of my faith, I know God hears me. Faith is the bridge to His heart. Whenever I trust, I feel His presence more strongly, guiding my steps and showing me the way." One year, the village faced a severe drought. Crops withered, and the riverbeds ran dry. Desperation loomed, but every day, Lila continued her ritual, climbing the hill and praying for rain. Some villagers scoffed. "It's been months, and yet you still believe God will answer?" Lila nodded. "My faith tells me that He sees our struggles. Just as the strength of my faith can move mountains, it can also bring forth rain." Days turned into weeks. One evening, as the village was losing hope, Lila felt an urge to pray not just in the morning, but under the starlit sky. That night, the villagers were awakened by the sound they had longed for, the pitter-patter of raindrops. The next morning, as the village rejoiced, they found Lila on the hill, her face wet with both rain and tears of gratitude. She turned to the villagers. "See? Because of faith, God answered. He always does." From that day on, the village understood the power of unwavering faith and how it can lead to answers from God. And Lila's faith became a beacon of hope, not just for her, but for the entire village. As we journey through life, it's as if we're walking through a gallery, with each artwork representing a phase or year of our lives. Some pieces might be abstract, making sense only when we step back and see the bigger picture. Some might be detailed portraits of significant moments or people. But every artwork has its place. When you believe strongly, God listens. Just like when a child believes in something and their parent notices, God notices our faith. This doesn't mean that every wish will come true right away, but it means that God hears you. It's like talking to a close friend. Even if they can't help right away, they're always listening. So when you have faith and really believe, God is there, hearing every word and feeling. This connection between you and God is special. It's like a secret bond that can't be broken. So always remember to keep your faith strong, because when you truly believe, God is right there with you, ready to listen and answer in His own time. With God leading us, our life is like a beautiful painting. Even if things get confusing, God knows the plan. Each experience adds to our story, showing a life filled with love and purpose. If this video has blessed you, write Amen in the comments. Subscribe, like, and share it with others. Don't go anywhere. Watch another inspiring video next on the screen.